Hey, good morning. It's Monday. I'm here with my partner in hosting Dragon Scaling. I'm his partner in hosting Mr. Solutions. And this is the Wayfarers Guide.
We're back to the Wayfarers Guide. It's a Monday. Let's see what kind of shit screws up today.
You know what? We've
That's so good.
you know what? We haven't had any technical issues in a very long time.
Not anything serious. We've had like minor audio glitches and a couple other like issues here.
We haven't even had that really in a long time.
What?
Mostly we've just been like late for the show, or not even,
or completely slept through it on my fault, or
mine's. I've done it as well. I've slept through the show. Absolutely.
So. It is earlier for you than it is for me, as you are more to the West Coast. But
yeah. But we're here today. We didn't sleep through the show.
Not today. Nope. We are back to doing things on Mondays.
Yeah.
Last week for sure was a crazy week for me. Wife was on vacation, so my entire schedule got shunted to the side. It was interesting.
No, that's it's good you got to spend some time with the wife.
I did, and for the most part, I did not have a problem with her vacation. She thinks that she did not get enough stuff done. But then I look at, we slept until noon like every day but yesterday for the whole week. So it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. We're gonna do a little on the fly crop interview, I think, on this side. Yeah, we want to see a little bit more of you. I think that'd be better. Yeah, all right.
You want to see more of me? Oh wait, that's a different streaming service.
That is different streaming service. But you can catch him on OnlyFans at Dragon.
No, I don't on OnlyFans yet, but literally. So speaking of OnlyFans, right? I think there is a niche market for dudes to do OnlyFans, but not the same way that there is for chicks to do OnlyFans. I think that guys OnlyFans and girls OnlyFans should be very different content. But there is a market for a guy's OnlyFans. And I'll tell everybody out here exactly how to make $1 billion on OnlyFans as a dude. Take pictures of yourself doing housework.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
The dishes, cooking, doing in a pair of boxers and an apron or whatever. Like,
yeah. No, he's right.
You want to make $1 billion on OnlyFans as a dude?
He's right.
Do some housework. Fold some laundry.
Take
wash the
pictures
dishes,
of you taking care of your kids.
The floor. Yep.
Yeah, take pictures of you taking care of your kids. Yeah.
You're taking care of your pets. Probably not the kids, but take care of your pets.
Oh no,
snuggle your puppy.
Look. Hanging out with your dad, hanging out with your kids, going to the park, going to the amusement park, doing cool stuff with your kids. Yeah, you take pictures of you and your kids. You like, especially if you're a single dad, like I am, right?
Oh yeah, I feel like the community may have an issue with you making money on you with pictures of your kids, but I mean,
I don't think so.
As long as they're tasteful and the rest of the content on your page is tasteful.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I'm not saying get naked with your kids. What I'm saying is
Hey, I
You
just,
know,
before the FBI cracks our doors in, I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same
No,
page,
I'm because OnlyFans is moving away from nudity. I don't know if you all heard, right? Like,
So as a company, they are promoting non-nude stuff more than they are promoting the sexual content. But when they announced that they were moving away from nude content, the outcry was like immediate, swift, and overwhelmingly massive.
yeah, you know why that was? Because of what happened with Tumblr.
Yeah,
So
they're like
Tumblr,
the whole
all of
platform
the
was
whole,
designed for this thing.
yeah, Tumblr's whole community was pretty much content creators of porn, and then Tumblr was like, we don't want to do porn no more, and shut down all those pages, and now Tumblr is nothing.
I had a Tumblr page for a long time. It promoted polyamory and BDSM and consensual lifestyle alternatives, and it was a very popular page. And when they started to move away from that and move away from that kind of content, it wasn't a popular page anymore, and I removed the whole page.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's all off topic from anything. How are you doing today, my friend?
That's the way we start our show. Come on
I know.
now.
How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. We're it's been a hell of a month. It's been a hell of a couple months, really. Like I'm so I know you still have a lot of shows going on, even though we've missed the Wayfarers guide, and I have a lot of shit going on my side. I'm about to produce episode 19 of our Breath of Fire series, which is the longest running series on my YouTube channel. I just checked my data the other day, and my YouTube channel now has over 2,000 views on it in
Nice.
the lifetime of the channel. So I'm moving that. It has taken me a long time to get there,
Nice.
but in the lieu of being consistent, I find it as a milestone, and I'm happy with it.
No,
So
congratulations.
it's good to see over 2,000 views. I know a lot of other content creators that get there a whole lot faster, but for me, it's good.
You know what? I'm kind of curious to see.
How many
My,
views your channel's
yeah,
got in
because
the
actually
lifetime?
I haven't looked in a minute, to be honest.
I
Um,
I know, like for a lot of content creators, the big thing for them is turn the numbers off. Don't look at the numbers. Don't look at your viewers. Don't always stream like you got 1,000 people watching. Always do this thing. But I'm not that guy. I always have my number on. I'm aware that the number is never accurate. That you always have viewers that haven't hit the feed yet. That the number is not the number of people that's actually viewing, and I'm aware of that. It's just one of those things. As a general manager, I got really big into running the P&L
yeah, no,
sheets and
I get it.
analyzing the numbers, and it's just something that I like to keep an eye on. So analysis of my numbers, my viewership, my hours watched, all that stuff is really interesting to me, and I
Hmm.
never really get down on myself because of the numbers. Granted, when you see under a 3 average, you're like, oh, that's garbage. I must be garbage. This whole thing's garbage. But then you get over it, and you're like, it'll be better next week. It's
So
fine.
were you looking at your watch time hours or just your views?
Just my number of views. My watch time hours is like just under 500 hours.
I'm at 1,178 views lifetime of the channel, and really I've only been doing
Your channel lifetime, yeah, I was like, your lifetime channel is like just a few months though, like less than a
it's
year
like less
for
than a
sure.
year, 6 months. Um, I'm up to 319 watch time hours with 48 subscribers.
You know what I find really funny though, while I keep an eye on my YouTube watches, I look at the view counts on my broadcasts on Twitch every week when I'm going through to highlight videos and get my clips for YouTube production.
Hmm.
Um, and I find hilariously that my past broadcasts have far more views than the viewership that my channel garnishes. And I don't know who's watching it or who's out there checking out my content. Whoever it is, I love y'all. I wish you'd come to the stream and hang out because obviously there is interest in seeing it, just not live.
That is kind of the issue with Twitch that I find in a general way, is that Twitch is not really set up to promote a lot of past watching. But that's where a lot of
It isn't.
and that's where a lot of the content actually comes from, though. Is
Yeah, other platform content comes from the broadcast and the highlights and the clips and
yeah.
things. There are literally like 20 to 50 views per broadcast on all of my past broadcasts. And I have an average channel view of like 3.
I actually have an average channel view of 3 right now. Finally.
You could technically qualify for affiliate as soon as you hit your follower numbers.
Yeah, I'm at 40.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
I know that you're not going to take the affiliate package, but
Well, no,
you are
I am
almost
not,
to
but I'm
affiliate.
almost there. Yeah. What I was really going to say is I haven't hit the subscribers yet. Or followers or whatever.
Because
I'm
you need
only at
500,
42.
right?
Yeah. I'm only at 42
You guys
right
out there that haven't followed Mr. Solutions,
Do
twitch.tv
it!
Mr. Soul-Lutions. Go follow the follow button. Do the
Yeah,
thing.
you see the Twitch stream up there. Well, you see the title up there.
That's right.
It's up there the whole entire show for both of us.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Go follow my man. Let him hit some milestones.
You were talking about your week. I'm talking about my couple of weeks, I guess. So
yeah,
what's
going on in Mr. Solutions' life?
So I've been really working on my IPs like super hard, like boom, 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 boom. So me and Laura, we're editing book 1 of Cross-Sword Lovers, right? We're on chapter we're on chapter 9 now on the edit. So we do a live read edit where we sit down in a Discord and we just read the book line by line, and if it reads right, it's good. If it don't read right, then we edit it, right? That type of stuff. I've been writing the second book pretty hardcore, so I just finished chapter 8 in the second book. And I'm going on to chapter. No, I just finished chapter 10 in the second book. And I'm about to start my edit.
You're going so hard, you didn't even know how far you got.
That's right. No, I just finished chapter 10, and I'm free to start my edit on that. So I'll be doing that this week as well. So I'm gonna do a edit from 1 through 10, and then I'll start, going back after that.
Awesome.
I had to redo the entirety of all the episodes of Insecnia. Because of a program.
Yeah, you told me about that when we talked last week, and that is super sad. I know that you had made a lot of progress, and then because of whatever malfunction.
Yeah. I was on episode 8, and we were going to release when episode 9 was done. So I was pretty damn close to release on the comic.
For those of you who don't know, the Chronicles of Insecnia is a webcomic that Mr. Solutions has. You have a pending contract to publish, right?
No, I mean I'm my own publisher. So no.
Right, but you have a place that has agreed to.
No, I mean I'm gonna put it up on Webtoons. I mean you publish webcomics the same way you publish content on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, right? And the payout's the same thing, right? I'll put it up on Webtoons. If I get followers, subscribers, viewers, then I get checks, right? Look, that's the way the world works right now, right? To make money, you have to give away your content. I know,
and hope that everybody watches it, and hope that everybody reads it.
Or engagement. Engagement is what pays you now, because right now we, the audience, are the product.
Well, and I think it's been that way for a couple of years now.
It's been that way for longer than that.
Yeah, all right. So I think in the last decade, yes, it has been moving that direction. But really, the last 4 years, 5 years, maybe, when Twitch really made a big splash as a streaming center, and people really started to go there as a profession. I think that was when giving your content away for interaction, and that's how you get paid, became the model.
Well, that's how it became the model for the everyday person, sure. And I say really YouTube pushed that more than Twitch did, to be honest with you. But that's how Google made billions of dollars, was by giving away the content.
For sure.
Right? Like Google started the internet model of how to make money. Right? Give away the fucking
3 decades ago.
Right. Give away the ghost and let the advertisers pay for it. Right?
Yeah. And that's and while I see some problems with that model, like I can see the problems that that kind of a function brings up.
Yeah,
I can see
of
the
course,
issues
because then it
where
causes exactly what we deal with. What everybody's complaining about, which is privacy concerns, right? You being shopped at specifically through an algorithm. That is the problem that it creates.
see, and I see a different problem that it creates. As a platform, YouTube is more concerned with making their sponsors and their advertisers happy than their content creators and their audiences happy. Because the money doesn't come from the audience, the money comes from the sponsors and the advertisers.
Well, yeah.
So we run into this problem where they're only concerned with what they can monetize and everything else gets shifted to the side.
Well, that's how they're going to make
Which
money, though, right? So I don't see a
right.
problem with it as much
Well, I
as
don't.
that's the
Maybe
mechanic.
problem is the wrong word. Yeah, maybe problem is the wrong word. It's a dilemma that we as content
Tech
creators have
creators.
to just deal with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it gets dumped on us as content creators to deal with it, not the audience. The audience is going to watch the platform no matter what's on it, as
Right.
long as there's something that entertains them.
Because the audience is the actual product again, right?
Right.
That's what we come back to in the loop. The reason why they're going to cater to the advertisers more than the content creators is because the content creators, like I always tell people, I'm compelled to write. I'm going to write if you read my stuff or not, right? We're compelled to make this content. We're going to keep making it if you watch or not, right? So it's irrelevant to both the audience and the parent companies and advertisers if we make the content or not. Someone's going to be compelled to make it, and the audience is going to be compelled to watch some of it. And and the sum of it is the only percentage that matters to the parent company and the advertisers.
Well, I mean, if you look at the numbers when you break down the number of hours of YouTube content uploaded to the platform versus the number of hours watched on the platform, the number of hours uploaded to the platform far exceeds the number watched. And the number
Absolutely.
watched is big ass number. Like it's
Absolutely.
a massive number.
But all that being said about, Google and analytics and all that, I've been reworking the comic. So I'm on episode 4 now. So I'm halfway to where I was.
Woo!
And I got most of that done in like 4 or 5 days.
Nice.
I also I got all the prep work, or all the not prep work, but I got all the title pages and everything is set into the comic now. I also added the little mini comic that goes in with the first issue. So everything is looking good in the first episode.
Little side bits also.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a little sharing with you guys.
Yeah, share up.
We like to
Let's
share
go.
around here. So I'm gonna give you guys a little preview of episode 1, because on Webtoons they're called episodes and not called issues. And honestly, the episodes are broken up out of the issues. So issue 1 is episodes 1, 2, and 3, right? So let's see. Let me see. I'm at 100%. I am at 100. So this is 100%.
So this is how you'll see it on Webtoons when you go to upload, or when you go to check out the comic.
Yeah. This is exactly how.
This is how it comes up.
Because Webtoons has what's called an infinite scrolling format, which is Marvel and DC have now adapted, right? And
well, I mean, Webtoons knows how to produce online comics and how to get their audiences engaged with it. So if anybody knows how to make the format work, it's them.
Yep. And Tapas uses this format as well. And all the readers, I'm sure it'll
probably be a general consensus, like this is how you do things.
Yeah. So get used to start reading your comics in this format, because honestly, it's easier for the artist to work in.
But, yeah, because you just attach a file on the bottom of a file and make it a single scroll.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what I've done here. I just took all these 4K
the artwork's amazing. Thank you. Just saying. You guys have done really good work.
You guys get a little bit of character info. You get a little racial info, because I'm awesome. I even threw in a little bit of flash fiction, so you can get some insight on some upcoming characters.
for those again who don't know, Insecnia is Mr. Solution's brain baby.
It is. It
This is
is.
all his original work and original storylines for the comic
Here's a little mini
and for the
comic.
characters and the whole thing.
A little mini comic that we threw in here called The Tales of Alar, and is about the race that lived on the planet before the Insecnians, right?
Historical lore.
And so this one up here, all this art is done by Kelvin Mitchell, the guy who do the Saturday show with Comic Cinema Clash. And he does the art for this Cazell title here, which, like you said, is amazing, and I freaking love it. All the art.
It's a very unique art style. I love the way it looks.
All the art for Tales of Alar is done by Sleeping Inks, which is my son. So my son does this comic here for me, and I write these both. I write them all. So honestly, a little later down the line, there's gonna be a couple titles that go with Insecnia, and they are actually written by Jake Bond, the dude that writes the game with me. And Laura
One of the
Salazar.
original authors on one of the original authors on the Virtual Versus mechanic, and Laura is the editor at Soul Monkey Publications.
That's right. So they got a couple titles in the Insecnia universe as well that will be coming out that they did write. But yeah, that's a little preview of what we got going on. This is
looking
episode
good.
Volume 1, Issue 1, Episode 1 of Cazell Harbinger. I am up to 4 right now, so
like you said, about halfway back to where you were before the software issue crashed.
This is the original episode 4. And honestly, this is the new one, and I feel like it looks much better.
It is pretty clean. I'm not gonna lie. It's good.
Isn't it though? Like we made like a real comic. Looks real good.
Oh, that's a good frame.
You like that?
Yeah, that was a real good frame.
Yeah. I've been kind of killing it with the formatting. So I do all the lettering. I do all the formatting for the book. He just sends me, like I said, he just sends me over these 4K, 8K images, and I resize them down, and I put them on this 800 by 40,000 blank canvas, right? Because you got a Webtoons is done in 800, 800 wide pixels.
800 by 40,000. That seems like a crazy display setup.
Well, it's just that long format.
I know. It's just when you say it, it sounds so crazy.
It does sound insane, but
800 by 40,000.
That's what I've been doing. I've been working super hard on my IPs, trying to get them re-released. Well, not re-released, trying to get them released. Period. Also did some work on virtual table games, or Virtual Versus. Virtual Table Games is the company, actually, the sub company for the game. I don't think I've ever
the umbrella.
Yeah, it's like the paper tabletop and the digital version will all go on to Virtual Table Games, right?
Right.
But Virtual Versus, I did do a little bit of work on. I've been doing some work on that. I did 2 new chapters in the mind, and I wrote a formula for Nax That Stack. So I realized.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, I realized not all Nax stack, but a lot of them, especially when you get to the physical fighting Nax and stuff, they don't really stack, right? Because like a stab and a slash are 2 different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they can be singular entities without being like you need to learn slash to learn stab, right?
Right.
But as I got into like the mental Nax and the spirit, the spiritual force Nax or whatever, I realized that a lot of that does need to stack. Like you got to have this skill before you can have this skill. That skill before you have that skill. So for Nax that do stack, I wrote a pretty. I want to say I wrote a pretty balanced formula. and it's pretty easy to follow. And when we go into today's virtual versus workshop, that's what we want to cover is this new formula and what the knacks look like in the mind chapter. So I wrote 2 new sections in the mind section as well. And we can go over those and kind of study what this new formula looks like.
Nice.
So
I've
been busy B.
I like having a foundation. You have been busy B. You have been. You always are. You always are. What other projects you got coming up? You got any new shows coming up? You got any new stuff on the works?
I'm producing some new shows.
I know you got, I know you're busy B and you've been working on all the stuff that you're doing, but do you have new things coming out for Soul Monkey?
I am producing a new show called Messy TV, and it'll be out in the next coming months. It's going to be my moderator for the Saturday show, Comic Cinema Clash, is going to start her own show with her cousin. They're going to be talking about the Ratchet TV they watch, like Desperate, the Real Housewives or whatever, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So I'll be producing their show, and I'm excited to do that because then I can actually start working on like transitions and adding in clips because I won't be on the show, right? So I can actually be in the background.
You can do the production work.
I can produce the show, so I'm really excited to start doing Messy TV. Kind of the same way I was really excited to start doing Padre Powwow with you for the same reason. Like I really want to get into deeper show production, and not just being in front of the camera. It's hard to produce a show and talk to you guys at the same time. Remember to press the buttons and blah 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 blah. It's a lot of work. So
yeah, no, I still have not. I've had my Stream Deck now for 2, maybe 3 months. I still don't have any buttons attached to it. I still don't have anything going on it because I haven't put things into it. Like I have ideas, I just haven't figured out how to make it go.
Right. Now I do have my Stream Deck set up, my G13,
and
my MIDI mix for like on the fly production stuff, but it's still hard to get to all those buttons.
To remember to use the buttons.
Right. So I'm really excited to actually be producing, to get into production of that. I got a whole bunch of little side things going on, still with the consulting stuff and, dealing with other people and that. So, try not to burn out, but the boy, I'm also trying to take off like a rocket. So
at the same time, right. Well, I have a new thing coming up in January.
I'm excited.
So I know you are. So you remember when I was in Colorado and we were breeding hybrid fish?
I do.
So I have a room in my house right now that's the playroom for the kids, but they don't usually use most of it. I'm gonna set up some tank stands in there and get a new breeder setup going, and we're gonna change the way we did the breeder setup to produce it as content, and it's gonna be a 24-hour fish channel. With music in the background and fan interaction, Patreon page where you can get some of the hybrid fish that we're making, be involved in the naming of the fish and the stuff, and lots of community interaction with the channel. And I'm almost a little bit worried that my fish are going to be more famous than me.
That would be fine though, as long as your fish are making you more famous than you money.
Right. Yeah, so we've got that coming up as my real only new thing. Other than that, I think I figured out a way to hook a few other consoles into my setup. With the capture card my PS1's on, I can hook up my my Atari, and I can hook up my I have a console that's loaded with preloaded with 120 arcade games like Burger Time, 1942, Donkey Kong, stuff like that, like classic arcade games. So my retro show on Thursdays is probably going to be like a real retro show here shortly, not just old PS1 stuff.
You are so hardcore with your old technology. It is amazing.
All right, so they're not old, but they're new.
No, those are old technologies. They're new games. They're new systems, sure. right?
Yeah,
But
the systems are new.
right. But look, I just got an emulator with like I don't know 400,000 games on it on a hard drive, and I just go.
And here I am using the old PS1 Mini on my old controller with my old consoles and my old stuff.
And you could just be like, bought a Sarah, boom.
It's real retro though. It's not like emulated retro. It's real retro.
Anyway, congratulations on the ability to hook up your retro gaming to your capture card. I'm glad you figured that out. That's
I
awesome.
have. It's new tech to me.
Actually, that's new tech to me, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of curious to how you did it. I guess we'll talk about it offline.
It's actually really simple. Anybody out there for $12 can do it too. You go to Amazon and get an AVG to HDMI adapter, and you just plug it right into your tower. And
That's
you're
what
good.
I figured you did. But right on.
Yep.
But no,
New tech to me.
new tech to you. Yeah, no, I been busy on my IPs. Has been the point. Been crushing. I've been crushing them as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I don't know if I've actually been crushing them, but I feel like I've been crushing them.
Now, as long as you feel like you're making progress and you're happy with your advancement on your own stuff, then I think that's the only thing that really matters. And I think if everybody would pay more attention to their own work and how they feel about doing their own work, that we'd all be in a better place instead of comparing to this guy or that guy or how many views or follows or whoever else has got.
I
I
agree.
think we'd be in a much happier state that way.
I agree. But I feel like I've been crushing. Been crushing my workload. Okay. So I've got this editing of the comic or the webtoon down to like one episode a day. So if I sit
Nice.
down and I really, sacrifice my mind and my body, I can get it done in like 15 hours. So that allows
Per
me to get,
episode, or
yeah, per episode.
that is a long work day on that though. That's no
is.
joke.
It is. But yeah, that's why I got to like I started doing the redo last week like Tuesday, and I'm already on 4, and that's what and I've taken a break
With lots of other stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and I've taken a break from doing that over the like I haven't touched it in like 3 days.
I mean, like you said, you have you got a lot of pots on the stove, dude. You got stuff going on.
Yeah.
So you can't focus all your time on one project when you've got 10,000 projects floating around.
This is true. But I'm glad to get back to the show. We've been going for like weeks.
Yeah, it's been almost a month since we had a Wayfarers guide, I think. It's been a minute, I think 3 weeks.
This is all right, so this is actually I know that our episode listings are off because you had that couple times where like you just kept running the stream and I was like I had technical issues. I was like I'm out. But I'm actually doing episode 19 of the Wayfarers Guide today.
I actually stopped numbering them. I stopped numbering them all together. I was like, I have no idea what episode we're on. We're both on different numbers anyway. It's just an episode of the Wayfarers Guide. Here we are.
No, this is episode 19 officially for me. And Saturday was episode 19 of Comic Cinema Clash.
Nice.
So now I got them both on the same schedule, even though that's because they've been missing weeks and whatever.
But it happens.
It happens. So I'm gonna do something special on Comic Cinema Clash for the 20th episode. We got a new piece of artwork we're gonna drop. That Kelvin did. He made us all superheroes. It's pretty dope.
Ooh,
it's pretty dope.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
It goes hard. We are going to do our favorite things. So we're going to do our favorite Marvel, DC, live action movie, comic books, animations, television shows, our favorite anime, favorite video game, that type of stuff. So we're doing.
I think my favorite animated movie on comic genre at all, altogether, with the exclusion of Into the Spider-Verse, because that shit is unfair.
Epic. Yeah.
Else. With the exclusion of that one, I think it's gotta be the Infinity Crisis where Batman fights Owlman and they blow up the time loop with
Okay.
all the dimension hopping. I think
Okay.
that's probably my favorite one.
Favorite animated comic book genre thing for me. So
If
all
they
of
ever
these,
do Hush, it'll change, but
they did do Hush. It was done. It was good. It was done.
it, it was all right. I liked reading it better than I liked watching that one.
Yeah. My favorite animated one. All right. So all of these are hard for me. Like to pick a favorite.
It,
By the
yep.
way, I love so many things. Right. Um, but animated comic book. So hard. 1990s X-Men.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that whole series. All right. I'll go with that.
And honestly, that's a hard toss up between that series and the Spider-Man series that was out at the time.
Oh, that also good. And Batman the Animated
Made a
Series.
series.
The 90s were the heyday for animated comic books, period. Like outside of that, everything else has been garbage.
Now we want to bring it down to like specifically animated movies. And probably Flashpoint.
Flashpoint's really good.
Flashpoint was really, really, really good. Like,
And that whole storyline really sets up every comic of the genre.
yeah.
At least for their publications, you know what I mean? Like DC really, when they did that storyline, that set up everybody's everything for everyone involved in the Justice League.
Yeah. No. Flashpoint was epic. Yeah. But anyway, that's what we're doing on Saturday is our favorite things for episode 20.
Guys, check that out if you haven't on his YouTube
It's gonna
channel.
be good. Comic Cinema. Check out Comic Cinema Clash. Go back, watch the episodes. We have a lot of fun on there. The early episodes were kind of ragged with audio problems, but as we get into it, the audio is great. The show is fun.
I think it's been that way for us too.
Yeah. The early episodes of this were pretty. My audio in the beginning when I first started streaming was an issue for me, but I finally got it under control. But no, check out Comic Cinema Clash. It comes on Saturday at 1 Central Time, Mountain Time. Sorry. And it's fun. We hang out with Silent Ace 221 and Serve, and we talk about this stuff.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in comics and superheroes at all, definitely check out Comic Cinema Clash on the Soul Monkey Publications YouTube. It is a good show. They have a good time, and they go in depth on their love of superheroes for sure.
Oh, and various other things. I think episode 21, we're gonna owe you guys a sci-fi episode, and we're just
with Discovery coming back on for a new season. It makes sense.
Yeah. We're just gonna talk about some sci-fi we love, like fucking Foundation. Have you watched Foundation?
Nope.
Oh my god,
I haven't even heard of Foundation.
dude. Foundation is so good. So the season finale of Foundation was just last week or this week or something like that. It was just this week. So Foundation is a book by Isaac Asimov. It's a book series by Isaac Asimov. It's actually the cornerstone of his work, and most people call it the grandfather of all modern science fiction. So, like, if it wasn't for Foundation, there'd be no Star Wars or Star Trek or any of the things that we enjoy so much as, because all these writers were inspired by Foundation.
Yeah, the writers were inspired by Asimov in lots of his work anyway.
Yeah, but Foundation largely is the first space drama. The first space soap opera, right? And Apple TV Plus made Foundation into a series. Man, I don't think I've ever seen anything so amazing. Like, it is written so well. Like the dialogue, the monologue.
If they take the core book, Isaac Asimov was an amazing writer.
Oh my God! Look, they carry that over so well.
The story, which is good. A lot of times the books don't get carried over very well.
Oh my God! Look, Foundation is so good. Foundation is Dune was so good. Did you watch the new Dune?
I have not seen the new one. I have heard lots of people like it, so it's on my radar of things I might watch.
You should watch it. It was fucking amazing, Mel.
I did hear that the new Dune is more for the book reader than the movie watcher because they go more in depth on the story and they explain some things that were not well done in the first movie.
I think that is a dumb statement. Now, it was definitely a better representation of the book, as the new Dune movie is a trilogy, right? And the first movie is the length of the original Dune movie, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So absolutely,
of course they can fit more things in.
Absolutely, it is more for the book. It's a experience that anyone who read the book is going to enjoy more than they did in the original movie. But to say that it's not for a movie watcher is also insane.
Well, I didn't
like,
mean that it wasn't for original movie watchers. I just meant that it was designed more to fit the book together better than the original movie did.
Yeah, like all movies nowadays. Hollywood has understood now that a big part of the watchers or the viewers, the audience's disappointment in a lot of the content they delivered up until now, like the original Doom movie, that it has no respect for the original content. Right? And the viewer gets left saying, well, that's not what happened in the book. Right? So Hollywood is caught on to that.
You must have been involved in the conversation with my wife when Harry Potter came out.
Oh, yeah, totally. Totally. Look, Harry Potter was cool up until the third movie. Look, Harry Potter was cool up to the third movie. In the third movie, they just completely started losing sight of the books.
Not according to my wife. That started in day one.
Okay, so all right. So I have a mentor that I work with like three days a week, right? And we're both transmedia creators, right? So we create media that's intended to be on multiple platforms, yada yada, right? And what I've been explaining to him lately as a creator of that type of media, from the book to the script, even if you're in control and you're the writer, you start to lose content, right? And the reason is time constraint. So in a book, I have an infinite landscape to tell my story, right? Blank pages. I can see that. Blank pages are forever blank pages. I can write 20,000 pages if I want and call it a book, right? But the moment I move to, let's say, a graphic novel, I become limited by space, right? So I have the space limitation of an issue, right? I have the space limitation of page size. I have the space limitation of how many panels is considered acceptable in the medium to put on a singular page, which is 6, by the way. Any more than 6, and you're making a clutter that your artist won't be able to navigate.
Well, you're also reducing the number of the size of each panel, so the detail from each piece of art that goes into it is even less and less.
That's exactly. So all of those start to fit into your time constraints, including things like speech bubbles and captions, right? So when I first started matter of fact, even from the script to the page, you start to lose your original idea. So on the script, I wrote a whole bunch of shit, right? And then by the time I got to the page, I realized all that stuff I wrote made the page look cluttered because I had to keep adding more speech bubbles and more speech bubbles. So then I had to start tapering down what I wrote in my original content to fit it on the page, right? And that's what we don't, as viewers, we don't understand, is that
without creating infinite panel space.
Right. Is as we keep scaling up the medium, as we go to television and to movies, you start to lose more content because of the time constraint, right? Now we only have 30 minutes, well 22 to 42 minutes to tell a story on television, right? We got to fit all that.
I honestly think that that's why I appreciate what Peter Jackson did with the extended trilogy for Lord of the Rings because he didn't worry about time constraint. He was like, I'm going to make every one of these 4.5 hours and I don't care.
Yeah.
They're going to watch it. They're going to consume it. I'm going to make it worth it.
Yeah. But he knew that the people that wanted to watch it would invest their time in it.
Yep.
And the people that did not would not, right? That was the decision and that was after the release of the theatrical version, right? Which were in those. But
the extended ones were always planned out. Like that was always part of the goal.
Absolutely,
to get these he
had shot it all at one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But
he knew that going into it and knew that he was making those decisions when he created the product.
Exactly.
So there was never a disconnect from one product to the other, which I think is a big part of the success of what the Lord of the Rings has become. Even now, they're still producing Lord of the Rings content, and there hasn't been a movie out in years.
Right. But Peter Jackson knows that you lose content.
Yo, for sure.
Right.
I mean,
under time constraint.
Cut so many big parts out of the book.
Right.
Like right off the bat, like you just cut them out altogether.
Yeah, of course. But
Radicast. I mean, come on.
You know, that's the real deal. And as an audience, we're like, oh, that's not what happened in the book. But you'll never be able to fit the entirety of a book into a movie unless the book is like 120 fucking pages.
Yeah, because you're right. You're right. It's just the size of the content.
Yeah, it's just the size of the content. And I
know there's
understood that so well until I started, converting
creating
my
your own content
from book to comic to movie to TV show, blah blah blah. And then I realized there's just no way to tell the same story across those mediums. It is not possible. They require different approaches, right?
Well, because they come across to their audience in different ways, and it's the same thing like we're doing here. This is going to come across to the audience in a different way than this broke down into clips and highlights put out on YouTube.
Right.
And it's going to come across, when we start creating game worlds and doing game stuff, those are going to come across different in printed media than they will on us live streaming a game. Right. They're a different content material, and they're going to come across different on different platforms.
Yeah, and we as audience, we need to get over that. We need to start appreciating the art form for what it is, right?
Yes and no. It can be done well, like Peter Jackson adapted The Lord of the Rings. There were lots of people that were pissed about the stuff that was left out, but he did a good job of bringing the character of the story to the screen.
I feel like Harry Potter
major points.
I feel like Harry Potter 1 and 2 were done excellently well for with the time constraint they had to work with versus the content in the book. I feel by Harry Potter 3, they completely stopped worrying about what was in the book.
They were just making good movies for movies.
For movies, exactly. I understood the things that were lost in 1 and 2. Like I got that.
Do you think that part of that is on the writers when they've gotten into their series so far and they know that because Harry Potter got picked up as a movie fairly early in the book's existence. Like, it wasn't... Lord of the Rings as a book was around for decades before anyone ever made it into a movie, even the old ones that they made.
Right.
Harry Potter was not around for decades before they turned it into a movie franchise. It was around... I think she was still publishing when they made the first movie. So, do you think that there's a part of the author's job knowing that what's his name? Damn. Dragons, Queen, Khaleesi chick.
Oh,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
George R.R. Martin. Martin is still writing the Game of Thrones series. He's not done yet, but the show is over. The show finished. They're still waiting on things to get published for the book series that have never been published. Mm-hmm. Stories that we have not seen yet, things that were happening that would have got cut out of the movie anyway. Do you think that there's a part of the artist's responsibility, the creator, the author, to keep in mind the original focus of their product before they publish it, knowing that it's going to a different media? Or do you think that they change the way they produce a thing? Do you think they write differently when they know it's going to be adapted? Or do you think that that's just something that the movie production takes into account that isn't a thing the original artist really deals with?
There's a little bit of both happening right now, right? So there's a few things influencing the creative process, especially with writers right now. So you have older content like Game of Thrones and Foundation, right? Where like, and I say older, even though he's still writing Game of Thrones actively, and we'll discuss that more in detail in a minute. Um, Also, Game of Thrones is over 20 years old as well, right? Um, so you have this landscape of older content that can be produced and really studied and turned into really comprehensive stuff, like the original few seasons of Game of Thrones, right? But however, when you deal with a situation like George R. Martin and where he's kind of at, right? He gave them permission to finish the show how they wanted to, regardless of what he was going to do with the books, right?
Right.
And then we start to cross that border of the new way that people are writing, especially for like television shows and series and stuff, where they're writing for the fans, right? The fans start getting online, they start getting on these message boards, they start talking about what they think and what they want, and then creators especially television creators start writing for what the fans expect or what they're talking about,
Right.
And I think that's a really bad way to write your content. We started to see that in Lost, and we started to see that in Game of Thrones, right? Like the internet influencing what the writers are going to write. Ooh, I'm excited to tell you about the game we're going to be making. So definitely, we're going to actually be talking about that at the break.
Centrosi just made a good point too, where Martin gave HBO the creative freedom, like you were saying, to finish the series. He gave them a rough outline of what he was thinking and gave them one side of what was going on, to see how the public would receive it, and then base his final book around the outcome of the final season. With the outcome of the season being what it is, I'm interested to see what he publishes in his book to kind of redact what happened. Like, because he's going to write the book that he's going to write no matter what they produced in the show. And I'm interested to see the story the way Martin wants to tell it. I think he recognized how badly
he will die first.
I don't think so. I think he's going to publish it one way or the other, or someone will go behind him and take his journals like they did with Tolkien universe, because the Tolkien universe, one of the most famous books in the Tolkien universe is the Silmarillion. The Silmarillion was not written by J.R.R. Tolkien.
I know.
It was written by his kids, but it was his notebooks and his journals and his things slammed into a Bible version of Tolkien's world.
I've read it. I'm aware.
Studied is more the word for it.
Right. Yeah, study. It's like that.
Follow-up notes and tab it and like highlight things. And
it's like that follow-up book for Harry
book.
Potter, which was like all the like stuff in the Wizarding World. I don't know if you guys read that, but I was like, whatever.
Anyway. I did not. I definitely did not.
I think that writers as a whole should. Okay, so I write a specific way. Where I write out all of my content into source books that has a beginning, middle, and end. I know where my story is going in the events, my key events, right? I mean, I write all my stories like that, so they can be scaled up to any media that I want to bring it to. So I don't I don't sit down and start writing a book, or I don't sit down and start writing a graphic novel, like the scripts for a graphic novel, or I don't sit down and just start writing the screenplay, right? I write all my content into like this giant source book where you can find the entire story. Like if you read the source book, you will know the whole story. Um,
Right.
and then I upscale those events in the different medias, right? So then I go write the book off the source book, and then I write the script off the source book, and then I write the screenplay off the source book. I don't write the script off the book,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because I can't convert the book into a script the same way. It just does
Right.
not
If you
work.
have a source material, if you have a base source material, that it's like building a D&D game. You have source material. Yeah, we talked about Dune
We
earlier,
talked
Citrosi,
about
for
Dude
sure.
earlier too.
Yeah, we
Yes.
totally did. Yeah, that totally fits in with what we're talking about. Yep,
Yes, yes. But you know what?
absolutely.
We are
Um,
round. Well, look, we're round at our break, and we're gonna go on the break, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna talk about the game. We're talking about
virtual
virtual
versus.
versus. So we're gonna go wait for like a 10-minute break because it takes him 10 minutes to smoke because
It does. It does.
he's so slow.
I, s- I smoke hundreds. That's the thing. I can't see spending money on shorter cigarettes when I spend the same amount of money on more cigarette.
All you're
That's
doing is
just what it
buying
is.
more filter.
Yeah, well, maybe so. That's possible.
Yeah,
However, for
I've
Centrosi and those who don't know, virtual versus is the mechanic that we're building on our game machine.
yes.
It will be usable for any kind of genre. You can do a fantasy game, a space game, an urban game, a modern game, any kind of anime game.
You can do a
Um,
slice of life if you want to.
yeah, you could use this mechanic for any kind of anything that you want to build a game on. Once we get the mechanic solid and everything works out, we're gonna play test it with a tabletop game. We're going to make it into several RPG games with RPG Maker. We're going to make it into digital content where we can produce it across platforms and you can utilize it across platforms. It will be the core mechanic for any kind of game that you ever wanted to play. And it will have everything in it that you'll need to do anything you've ever wanted. So it's just a new core mechanic for a percentile based, like Dungeons and Dragons style game mechanic.
Yes.
That's generally then usable across platform and genre for anything you want to use it for.
We have covered it extensively over the last, I don't know, 5, 6 episodes of Wayfarers Guide.
I think
So
it's been more. I think it's been more than that. I think
I think
we're
so.
like 8. I think we're at 8 episodes of going back to the
So
mechanics.
we've covered a lot of the mechanics in previous
Mhm.
episodes. We're going to cover some refinement of the mechanics today. For those of you who haven't seen anything, we'll go over a quick overview of what the gameplay is kind of like, and then we're going to get into some formula, like I said, that I wrote for building what
Yeah,
is called Nax.
because as we build the game, we're doing the show about building the game so that you can see how to build your own stuff on it.
Yep. So we're going to go over how to make
So,
Nax that stack on one another today. And Nax is just the word we use for abilities, really.
Citrosi, I know that they're in my VODs folder. If you go and look at my videos, the ones from the last couple months are in there at least. I don't know that we have put them all on YouTube. Have you
Citrosi,
put
I have
them?
them all on my YouTube channel. So let me go
Yeah,
ahead
link.
and give me a
Let's link
second.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's. There you go. That should pop up in. Oh well, you know what? That didn't pop up in your Twitch. That just
I'm
popped up in my
grabbing.
Twitch.
I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing it. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
loading
yeah,
your page right now so I can grab it all.
yeah. So he'll send you over to my YouTube. And all the episodes of Wayfarers Guide are on my YouTube. Like I said, you gotta forgive the earlier episodes. Audio was all over the place. But the earlier episodes don't really pertain to anything about the game. So you can, I think you watch
Yeah,
like maybe
it
like the
doesn't.
last 8 episodes. I think. Actually, you know what? They all have tags on them. All the videos have tags that say what is going on in the videos. So you can actually read the text. So let's see. Wayfarers Guide 16. Wayfarers Guide 14. 13. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you where we start at. Episode 13 is where we start talking about virtual verses for the first time. So if you want to go back to episode, oh, thanks Citrosi for following me. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, if you want to go back and start the virtual verses journey with us, we started episode 13 of Wayfarers Guys. So that's a great place for you to pick it up, find out what is going on with the game, what we are doing. But we're gonna be talking about some major changes to a lot of what we've actually talked about thus far. So, yeah, it's 9:03. Let's take our 10-minute break. I'm gonna get back with you in 10 minutes.
Woo! We'll be right back, guys.
We'll be back, guys.
Don't miss it.
All right, so we're back. A dinosaur story. No, we're back with world and life skill building. This is the Wayfarers Guide. Do you remember that
Dinosaur
movie?
story.
We're back. A dinosaur story.
I do. It's such a good movie too.
It's such a good movie. All right, but no, it's the second part of the hour, and we're back with the Wayfarers Guide, and we're gonna get into some virtual verses. Ain't that right, Dragon?
That is correct. I need to open up my docs.
We're going to open up Knack Formula. Actually, it has both the formula and the example on it because I have foresight like that. Oh yeah, that camera switch. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Ah.
All right, and we're opening what ones?
Knack Formula. I think that's the only one we're actually going to need today. Let me know if you don't see that. You should, though. It should be in that folder.
Yeah, as soon as I get to the right account.
Got it.
Click over here. I got 4 skills in next. I got game mechanics. I got. Let me just search it. What's it called?
Knack Formula.
Knack Formula. There we go. Knack Formula. Yeah, I got that right here. All right.
Yeah. All right. So that's what we're gonna go over today. So, real quick for those of you who haven't caught any of the episodes regarding virtual verses, it breaks. Okay, actually, here let's. I'm gonna get out the mind chapter real quick. You don't have to do that, but I'm gonna use it for this quick explanation. So you have affinities in this game, which you use to get knacks, which are basically skills, right? But like you have affinities like deduction, creation, improvisation, bravado, intellect. These are umbrellas for knacks that you can take. So like under deduction, you have the skills of detective, observer, puzzler, memorizer, organization, investigator. Under creation, under the affinity creation, you have the skills inventor, artist, weaponeer, designer, mechanic, engineer. Under these skills, you get knacks, right? And those are the powers that you have with these skills. This is a D100 game. So this rolls on one
All
D100 dice,
percentiles.
all percentiles. 1 is a success in this game, 100 is a failure in this game. You are trying to roll under the number required for you to roll against. So if the thing you're rolling against has, let's say, a defense of 20, you need to roll 19 or below to successfully attack that thing. So that's how this works.
That's how it do be.
That's how it do be. That's in a nutshell. Like I said, if you would like to get yeah, if you want to get some more information, go back to 13, start watching from there. You'll get a full explanation. We read like all the player information, all the documentation information in the first like 13 through 15 or 16. So you'll get a real breakdown of how the game actually works and mechanics. But as far as the knack formula goes, I went on ahead and named them knack A, knack B, knack 1A, or A1, B1, A2, B2, C, right? And you'll see why here in a second. So, knack A, level 1, requirement 1 point in said skill. Cost is 0 PP. Description is +1 or negative effect to whatever the effect is, right? Knack B is going to be on the same level as Knack A. The require is going to be level 1 requirement, 1 point skill, 0 PP, same thing, plus or minus the effect. Okay. Knack 1A is going to be a level 1 knack, so they're all going to start at level 1. The requirement is going to be 2 points in the skill, and Knack A is going to cost you 1 power point, and it's going to give you a +2 or -2 to the effect of whatever it does. Knack B1 is a level 1 spell, a level 1 knack. Requirements are the same. 2 points in the skill. And Knack B. 1 PP is what it costs, and a +2, -2 to the effect. Knack A2 is a level 1 knack. The requirements are 4 points in the skill, right? And you have to have knacks A1 and B1. So that means you obviously have to have knacks A and B to have A1 and B1.
So wouldn't it be a level 3 then?
No, because you would have to have 4. The level of the knack is still 1. So when it originates at a level 1.
It's just an advanced.
Right. It's just now, to get to this level 1 knack, you got to meet these requirements. The cost of it is 3 PPs, and it has a plus and -3 effect to what you're doing. Knack B2. Go ahead.
And for those of you guys out there watching, don't think I don't know how this works. It's just new formulas for us to list what we're using the mechanics under. So
Yeah.
we have adjusted some things, and I'm just trying to make sure I know what's happening with it.
So Knack B2 is the same thing. It's that 4-point skill. You need to have A1 and B1 to get it. Okay. Then Knack C is essentially an 8-point skill. It's the combination of A2 and B2, so you'd have to have everything in the tree to get Knack C. It costs you 6 PP, and it has a +5, -5 effect. So this is what it looks like. Okay. So this would be from organization. I'm fairly certain. Give me a second. Yes. So this is from deduction organization. The organizer is able to take events and objects and arrange them easily before them in a vivid mental picture in order to deduce their meaning or to use them all to their best advantage. So these are all from that, and this is what it looks like. So management level 1, requirement 1 point, organizer cost 0 PP. Virtuals who have taken the knack management are adept at the organization of people and the roles they should be placed in. Virtuals who take management get a +1 to all command checks when commands are given to allies. During the combat round, all allies gain a +1 to vitality due to their optimized arrangement. Okay. Then Arrangement is also level 1, requiring 1.0 pp. Virtuals have taken the knack arrangement and are able to see and understand the best way to arrange inanimate objects to their optimal effect. The knack arrangement gives virtuals using it a +1 to attack when using any world-based item as a weapon, and a +1 to block to use any world-based item intended to use as defense. So now with
So that would be like watching Survivor when they have like a big puzzle board.
yeah. That you could apply it to that, or you can more simply say that if your interaction with inanimate objects as weapons or as defense gives you a +1.
Right, but it also talks about how the organizer can mentally picture inanimate objects in a pattern and do
Yeah,
things like that.
it
So
could totally
skills
apply to that as
also
well.
apply
Absolutely.
to puzzle solving and things like that. Just in this specific Nat case.
Yeah. Leader, which is a level 1 knack, requires 2 points in organizer and the knack management. You'll see why, because it deals with people, right? So the knack leader allows the virtuous taking it to command all of their allies and those NVPs, so non-virtual players, that are not active in combat with the knack leader. Sorry, that's a period. With the knack leader, a game with the knack leader, virtual gains. I don't know why I didn't write that. A +2 to all command checks, and during combat, all allies gain a +2 to vitality during their optimized organization due to their optimized organization and commands given by their leader. Tactical is the same thing as leader, but it applies to inanimate objects, right? So
Okay.
2 points in organizer. You gotta have the knack arrangement instead of management. The knack,
Because it's inanimate objects, not people.
right, exactly. The knack
Right.
tactical allows virtuals who have taken it to make the best decisions concerning the arrangement and placements of inanimate weapon types, type items such as ballistic type weapons, cannons, seized weapons, traps, and vehicles. All item type weapons gain a +2 attack, and the defense type items and vehicles gain a +2 to defense. Strategist.
So you know one of the things I like about our game as we build it more and more,
Mm,
the fact that like third edition there are unlimited options.
yes.
And no two characters, unless designed exactly the same, will be the same.
Yes, that. Strategist. It's a level 1 spell. Requirements is 4 points in organizer. You have to have the next leader and tactical, right, to get the strategist. Of course, 3
So you would have to take 4 points in organizer and have
all the skills and have both
the knack management, the knack arrangement, and the knack leader
and tactical.
and tactical.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Virtuals that have taken the knack strategist are brilliant on the battlefield. Or friendly combat items gain a +3 to their vitality and block, while adversaries combat gains a -1 to block. And the reason why it's a -1 to block is because it's the first time it's affecting the enemy, right, or the adversary, right. Commander level 1 requirements 4 points in organizer. You have to have the next leader and tactical, so you can choose one or the other at this juncture, right? Of course, 3 PP description. Virtues have taken the Nat commander are respected on the battlefield, and their commands will follow without reproach. Due to their leadership, their allies gain a +3 to block and vitality, and adversaries gain a -1 to block.
Does that stack with the strategist?
It does.
So if you have
well, as we get down to strategic commander, you will find out, right?
Right, so it'd be a +3 to their block, a +6 to their it'd be +6 to bite, +6 to block, and a -2 to enemies block.
Correct.
All together with all the
and honestly, it is an adjustment to it because I made an adjustment so it's not too OP. So when you come down to strategic commander, this is when they stack together, right? So strategic commander, 8 points organizer, next strategic strategist and commander. Of course, 6 PP description. Strategic commander allows virtuals who have taken it to take absolute control on the battlefield. This command over both allies and allied combat items to gain a +5 to all block and vitality, while adversaries and adversary aligned combat items gain a -3 to block and vitality. So I didn't want it to be that high because it seemed a little outrageous. And then it'll scale as the level goes up, right? But
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Well, if you look at it like this, right, from tactical, requires 2 points, organizer, and the knack arrangement. Well, arrangement requires the organizer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would require 1, 2, 3, 4 knacks. And then when you get down to strategic, it's requiring 8,
Requiring all the necks
9,
in the
10, 11, 12. It's requiring like 14 knack placement. So to have the points stack like that after 14 knacks is not really that overpowered at the level that you're at by that point. Especially if you're soaking all your points into these things.
Okay, I can concede to that.
I mean, you look at you're talking like essentially 14 levels worth of character development to get enough knacks to do all this stuff. And then it's the only thing you can do. So having them be a little overpowered at that high end of the knack tree is not really that overpowered.
Okay, I can give you that. But anyway, that's the basic idea with the new knack formula. And I did do a few things in the mind chapter. I did deduction. I did all of deduction. I finished this puzzle stuff as well. This Quizmaster blah blah puzzle stuff.
The memory stuff.
I did I did the puzzle and the memory stuff.
Levels are a little different. Your character technically does not gain levels. At a certain break point of experience, you gain power points. And then you can spend those power points to give yourself or to use knacks as you go up in the skill trees. We haven't really gone over the mechanics of leveling in depth. We have talked about it early in the series, but we haven't finalized the leveling experience gain mechanic.
It's more apt to say that your knacks level than you level.
Yeah, it's more like what level your knacks are at rather than what level your character is.
Right. That's actually more important. And I guess for all intents and purposes, it translates to the same concept, right? But because
so you get set number of PP per level, sort of. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. As you develop, you might have knacks that are like way OP compared to other knacks. So it's hard to be like, well, this is my level per se. But what you're really focusing on is the level, the soaking in of power points that you earn through your adventures into your knacks. And as your knacks progress,
and the more power points,
right?
Yep.
As you gain,
and
more
as you
power
gain
points,
more power points, you get to do more things per round.
Exactly. That is an easier way to look at it than saying, what's my level. So yeah, that right there. Yeah. Now, speaking of Jake though, Jake has been in contact with me. We have been talking. He's waiting for me to finish the mind chapter. And he's gonna go over that, and we're gonna do some discussion on that. I think he is gonna join us on the show on one of these shows.
I was literally just about to ask you, are we about to have a third person on virtuals? Because I'd love that.
Yeah, I think at least once or twice he's gonna join us on the show after we get the mind chapter done. He's excited to be working on the mechanics of the game again as well. So.
No, Centrosi, don't apologize about it. We are also trying to figure out the mechanics as we go. That's what building the game is about.
Absolutely.
And we also do the same thing to each other where we're like, wait, hold on, does this work? I think a couple episodes ago, not the last time we did the show, but a time before that, we were really looking at how the point structures and how they level on themselves, and we redesigned the entire math behind how the PP chart even works by the knack levels. Like we're going through it, we're looking at how this works with another part of the game and how they balance together, and we're really going over numbers and stuff. And that's part of us doing the show. That's part of us designing the game together. Is all of us together, you guys included, piping up and being like, "Hey, this doesn't make a lot of sense. How do these numbers work together?" It's part of the hashing out the mechanics, and that's
Absolutely.
why we do the show. So that don't apologize. You're not interrupting. You're bringing up good points, and yes,
Absolutely.
I love having the interaction. So yeah,
And
do that.
let me give you a little history, Centrosi, since you're just catching this virtual verse conversation for the first time. Honestly, me and a friend of ours, a mutual friend of me and Dragons, Jake Bond, we were writing
Who
this
we were
game
just talking about.
like a decade ago,
Yeah.
right? And we wrote like I want to say like probably 80% of this game over the course of like I don't know 4 or 5 months. And we
Yeah,
were
you guys drove a lot of time into it right off rip. Like
yeah
it's
we were waiting on another person to finish this mind chapter here, and they just was dragging their feet and they never finished it, and it made us unmotivated, and we just kind of stopped because we were burnt out from creating a ton of content. But the game mechanics, the knacks, like we had made like all this stuff like real fast. We really needed a third
there's
person.
there are so many documents on the document folder. There are hundreds of knacks. There are hundreds of mechanical little tidbits and
There's
things. There are
spreadsheets for items
hundreds.
and
Yeah,
weapons and
there's
like all
so
that.
many things.
Like we really put a lot of work into the game. But we really needed a third person to write this chapter because we were just burnt out. And this third person just could not. One, they weren't writing a good chapter. Like, a lot of this I've already fixed. It just wasn't really good. And then they didn't finish the chapters. That's what I'm doing now is I'm finishing the chapter. Um, but I had put this away.
And
I
then
shelved it for years, and then we started doing this show, and we were gonna do like a
yeah,
3.5, D&D game, and we're gonna,
that was the original intention for Wayfarers Guide, was to design 3.5 storylines and do a 3.5 D&D game.
right.
But the more we got into it, the more we got looking into what we were building and the stuff we were looking at, the more Mr. Solutions was like, nope, I think that virtual versus is where we should go with this. We talked about it, and we were like, yep, let's do it. And we brought it back out of the dark closet that it got shoved in, and we started doing work on it.
Yep, and
Him
a lot
far
of
more
this
than me,
is
for
us
sure.
learning the game because I wrote it over a decade ago, so I don't really remember the game mechanics and exactly where me and Jake's mind was for a lot of this stuff when we were writing it. I mean, now a lot of it is pretty self-explanatory at the same time, right? But
And a lot
I'm
of it too is come
rediscovering
back
it.
over the yep.
I'm rediscovering it along with you guys, at the same time, right? So
Yeah, and like I said, when we finish the mechanics part and we get all of the stuff listed out and we get everything going the way it's supposed to be, then we're gonna make tabletop games and virtual games and video games, and we're gonna build on the mechanics in a
so
bunch of different
the
genres. So
rollout
it's just
is gonna look
basics.
exactly like this, right? So we're going to compile this into a alpha, right? And it's going to be a PDF alpha, with
Like a book set.
all the things that you guys would need to play or run a game. So either playing a game with us or run a game. We are going to run a private alpha on the game, once it's completed, and we're probably going to stream the private alpha, right? We're going to run a public beta on the PDF game where we want you guys, the audience, to play virtual versus with us on the stream, right? So we
Mhm.
will be I forgot what we call the DM in this game. The creator. Yeah. We'll be the
Yeah,
creator.
creator.
Yeah. We'll be the creators of the store. One of us will be anyway. And you guys will be virtuals in our game. Um, I am leaning towards using an SMP Soul Monkey Publications IP to make the game format. So don't expect it to be like a traditional D&D game. It won't. And honestly, you can liken this system more to Rifts if you want, right? Like
Yeah, GURPS, Rifts, Champions, something like
right,
that.
something like that. But honestly, it's intended for you to make it into any setting you want. So if you want swords and sorcery, do that. If you want sci-fi, do that. If you want to create like I said, you can do a slice of life, right? Like with some of these knacks here, you can do, a detective agency, game.
Yeah, not all of the mechanical abilities and knacks and things will be good for every kind of genre or every kind of system. Like if you're playing in a high fantasy set, then you probably would remove all of the gun knacks and all of the modern warfare knacks and all of the technology knacks. But you would definitely focus on magic knacks and elemental knacks and fighting knacks
Right.
and knacks and mind knacks and things like that.
Yeah.
So each genre will have their own real good listing of things, but the game mechanics have to cover everything so that we can cover all the genres.
Exactly. But it's made so that you can play the game that you can tell the story that you want to tell. And the way that the system with the knacks is made with the leveling of the knacks is made for storytellers to tell extended stories, right? So this should feel like a day by day adventure with your characters, with your players as you play with them, right? It's intended for you to be like, so I wrote this
Exactly.
real intense and an interactive environment, this real story that I want you guys to go on. I want you guys to go on it kind of slowly, like regular people do, and you can of course adjust that so that your pacing is faster. That's all your storytelling,
Well, and
right?
that's why we're designing the mechanics the way we're designing it, so that
Yeah,
you as the creator can build your own story and tell it the way you want to, and that it doesn't have to get jammed into the same hole as other stories because the mechanics are designed a certain way. It's
exactly.
meant to be open like that, just like you said. It's meant to be wide open and broad so that you can utilize it the way you want to tell your story. That's why the mechanics are that way.
So, but that's kind of the history of what's going on with Virtual Versus, where it comes from, what its intent is. After we get that beta game with you guys rolling, then we're going
That's
to
yep.
then we're going to get out. We're going to
Because
start.
those will be the mechanical tests. The alpha and the beta will really be the mechanical tests on how the game functions and how the mechanics work together and balancing. And really, until we do the alpha and beta game, I don't know that the game will be even close to balanced. Even after we're done with the alpha and beta game, maybe it won't be balanced then. Maybe we'll still need to do balance work.
Oh yeah,
It's
no.
totally a possibility.
We're totally gonna have to use the beta games, and we're gonna have to do multiple beta games to get balancing
Mhm.
right. But once
Well, because
balancing,
we should try it in different genres too. Like we try a sword and sorcery high fantasy, we try a sci-fi, we try a modern, we do
yeah,
a maybe I run a Pokemon game based on our mechanics.
that is actually not a bad idea. Um, but once we finally get ourselves like a balance, jam going there, then we're going to actually we'll start app development. We'll start app development before that for sure. Um,
Yeah, just to have the framework set up, and then you could change the mechanics as we go.
yes. But with once we get the beta kind of rocking and roll, where is that tear coming from? Oh, it's okay. So you have something's holding the corner of your green screen. There. All right. Yeah, but if you move back, it's gonna come back. It's weird. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. So let me see. Are you looking to allow people to, I don't know, multi-knack and force people to think about how they want to build their character? Like, I could be 4PP into a knack and they'd be like, eh. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yes.
multi-knacking is actually, honestly, when you look at how this is all set up, that's really where it's at, right? So
We talked about that
We talked about
for
that
sure.
in detail and quite a few episodes really, but there's certain
Yeah.
knacks that are absolutely like even at level 1, you want to have it to do like all the other things you want to do. Like,
Mhm.
there's knacks
Yeah,
that
I can see there's going to be a list of S tier knacks that are just across the board. These knacks are definitely things that characters should look at. But for the most part, every character that you build, depending on what they're doing, is going to be looking at a completely different knack list. And the way that they design their characters, the way that each of the players design the virtuals that they're using, really dictates on what they spend their knack points on and how efficient they are at doing any particular task. And there's gonna be that one guy that builds into this one thing and then sucks shit in everything else.
yeah.
And there's gonna be this one guy that's a good jack of all trades, but can't do anything specific for shit.
But then you're gonna have those players who have really looked at the knacks, and they're gonna be like, if I put this knack with this knack, and I build this tier out this way, they're gonna wind up being so freaking OP. Like,
Well, for a particular thing, not everything,
no, not
just
well,
a
yeah.
specific, just one thing that they picked out. If they build directly into that,
Well,
they
no, I'm
find a
talking
neat
about the
way to
ones that are
design
like,
Max
I
together.
need a little bit of this stack, a little bit of this stack, but I'm gonna put a whole bunch into this stack. But I also need to be able to do these things. They're gonna be.
I think when we were going through the body chapter, that we found a lot of those that were like, oh, this would be good for all kinds of stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
goes with this other thing really well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Multi-knacking is definitely gonna be where it's at. It's gonna be
Mm.
because there's so many knacks. It's gonna be hard to be like, all right, this is the one that I want to choose. What I'm gonna suggest is kind of like, wow, you take and you look at what the knacks you're really interested in, like really
Yep.
interested in. You get yourself a note someplace and you start building a tree. Um, and you know which ones are most important to you and the ones you want to build with, so you know how to start getting those points. That's how I really
Mhm.
approach that. A visual tree, I think, in this game is really going to help you. And of course, the
Dude,
app is going to have that.
somebody's gonna come up with a way that we didn't even intend for things to go, and they're gonna find like some broken build that's just gonna wreck everything. And
Oh
until we
yeah,
play 100 games, we're never gonna see
we're
one.
never gonna know. But
That's
but once we get the app out, we are going to make some RPG builder style games out of it as
Mhm.
well, so that you can see how you can use the system to just build a game, right? And sell a game online, right? An RPG.
Oh yeah, because we'll definitely be doing that.
It is open source. It is
Mhm.
intended for you creators to use the at least the PDF materials to build your own worlds, build your own games, all of those things. So
A little bit of this knack in my life, a
the
little
things
bit of
that
that
we are
knack
going to
in my
sell,
life.
obviously, are like the app, right? We'll release premium
Yep.
services on the app. We are going to
Well, you
sell things
figure
like the game we built, right? And there is monetary, there's a monetary, option here, but we are going to give away the game materials for free.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Where as the open gaming license, the base mechanics of the game will be open for everybody to use for free. If you want the tools to use it with, you want the app to build it on, you want the games that we build on the mechanic, those are all cost money. We're spending time, we should be compensated. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that at all. However, it also leaves it open for other people to design in our world, in our mechanic, that we could then pick up later under contracts or whatever for other creators to build inside the thing and spawn their own genre of gaming in under a license with us. Lots of options and things that we can do in the future for the game.
Right. I would like to be able to license into the app, right? So, we got the core app build. You want to add your story to the app so other people can play your story. I want to be able to license that in those type of things. So, um, that's the buzz around virtual versus. That's largely what we're doing. I'm excited. I've been excited. I've been trying to resurrect this actually for some time now. This is between this and the comic, they're easily my favorite, projects that I have on the table.
You love all your projects, whatever.
I didn't say I didn't love all my projects. I said the virtual versus and the graphic novel
Because
are my favorite.
I know for a fact that the comic cinema class is one of your favorite things that you do because you
Oh,
just love that
I
shit.
do love that show. I love this show. I miss my Monday night show, but my partner in hosting on the Monday night show is dealing with some illness with his mom, so we are still on hiatus there. But I do miss that very very much. But as far as
Thoughts and prayers for what they're worth.
as far as my personal things go, my graphic novels, this game are super close to my heart. Right, the things that I really want to see come out, things that I put a lot of energy into, and
That you have for sure.
I really, 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 really are ready for their release. Um, I'm getting pretty excited about the book release too. Um, so it's been like
I
3
think by the
years.
time I think by the time you start editing the second one, you'll be huge.
You know what? I thought about Kickstarters for all of my stuff. To be honest with you, I'm not a ask for money person, and I have everything I need to produce this stuff. Like I have all the technology I need. I got everything I need. Um,
I think the only thing that we're lacking is the time to sink in.
I
I think
I
that's
don't
the only
really
thing
I
that
don't really
either one
lack
of us
that.
are really
I
lacking.
don't really lack that either. I put a lot of time into this business. That is my virtual
Well, I mean
content creation.
that would what I mean by that is like that would warrant a Kickstarter. I think that's really the
Yeah,
like you
paying
said you
for
have
my time would
you
be the
have
only
all the
thing that
stuff.
would warrant a Kickstarter, right? Um, you know, I I just I just have a hard time with that whole Kickstarter life. Like, I don't know why I should be all into crowdfunding because there's people willing to give away
You
their
sh-
money.
Listen, with the amount of projects that you could streamline if you kickstarted everything that Soul Monkey Publications is doing, right? You could streamline what things the audience is most interested in by how much money projects pick up, and you could narrow down what you're spending your time on by the most supported products. It would be the only reason for you to do Kickstarters is to figure out what the audience wants you to do first.
That's not a bad idea. That's actually a really
It's
good
like they're
idea.
doing. I know Mila Kunis right now is involved in an NFT production company where they're creating cartoons, and the people that are paying into the NFTs are owning the cartoons that they're producing, and they get to say what happens in the storyline. So they have their own like Discord or whatever, and the people that pay into the NFT of the IP are discussing in the background like here's where the story should go, and they come up with it as a group think, and then the artists go ahead and make the cartoon that the NFT producers are paying for.
That's
So
really
it gives
interesting.
them it's how they decide what projects go forward faster and how they produce what they produce.
Now, speaking of NFTs, however, one of the things is like I said, the insignia art gets sent over in these 4 and 8K images, right? And once we release the graphic novel, we're gonna sell the originals as NFTs.
Hmm. I have a hesitancy for you to sell your comics as NFTs
No, not
because
the
then someone
comics.
else
No, not
well, but the panels, the whatever, because then someone owns the right to your piece.
they own a right to an image, right? They don't own a right to the collection. They don't own a right to the graphic novel, right? Which is already public facing anyway.
Well, and then you could have a set number of them too. Like say you have 1,000 of every panel that you sell, whatever. It's a
Yeah,
numbered series.
exactly. So, but we're gonna do the NFT thing. We're probably gonna do the NFT thing on all the comics because, I mean, you know, owning a piece of art Okay, so owning a original cell from Superman animation doesn't mean that you own Superman animation,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
Doesn't give you the rights to owning Superman animation. You just own an original piece of artwork produced by the production company that made Superman.
I just I would just hate to see somebody come up and like 2 years after they buy an NFT panel and you are reproducing the comic and they'd be like, yeah, you can't use that panel because I own it.
Yeah, I guess that could
It's
be a
like, but
thing, but yeah,
I would look into that a little more before you sell your IPs and your product like that. Before, like, I don't know, maybe I don't know.
yeah, no,
Well, I mean, as
I
long as
see what you're
every,
saying,
yep,
Centrosi.
yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Crowdfunding is really not attractive to me. Um, I
Mr. Solutions wants to do his own thing in his own time and then charge people for his efforts.
yeah, and
That,
yes,
and
you
I
copyright it before
respect
you
that.
sell it. Yes. Um, yeah, and that's exactly it. You copyright it before you sell it, and really put it on the internet as a comic copyrights it before I sell it, right? So the moment I put it up,
Mhm.
that's what I was saying. The moment I put it up there anyway, um, I already have expressed use to use that panel that way. So if I sell you the NFT, you can't come back to me later and be like, you can't use that as that. I've already published this and copyrighted it as a comic, right?
Mhm.
I already own it.
When the other thing I was talking to Tony the other day, who recently has quit his job to start a company for 3D printing and doing some other stuff. Where the end goal eventually is for him to have his own hobby shop where he rents out rooms for gamers to have a fully authenticated, like, in-depth role play experience with NPCs and costumes and stuff. Right, that's the way down the run.
Oh, that
Way
sounds
down
super
the run.
exciting,
It is. It's huge. It's like a, I don't know. It's a game store, but bigger than any game
dude.
store than I've ever
Dude, we
thought of.
gotta look. We gotta get in bed. You talking about Jesse's brother Tony, right?
Yeah,
Okay, we gotta get in bed with him, right? On the virtual verse thing in the store. We gotta make the game
already
room.
working on it. But
Look, we gotta make the game room and the app completely interactive with one another.
yeah,
Oh, dude, that'd be
yeah,
fire.
absolutely.
That'd be
Yeah,
fire.
I'm already working on that. I'm
That'd be
working on
fire.
Tony getting his whole
I'm
channel
gonna hit
set up
Tony up too.
because not only is he doing that stuff, but his first product line is unique 3D sculpted, 3D printed minis. Like, that's his product line.
Nice.
There's other stuff involved in it, but that's his thing. Is like, you want a one of a kind mini? I got a shop for that. We'll sculpt it up. I'll charge you the fee for the architecture work, and then you just pay me for the product, and I'll ship it to you, no problem.
That's all right. Yeah,
So
no.
he'll
I'm gonna
be
talk to Tony.
creating, yeah, he'll be creating things like that. And I was talking to him about it, and having a show like this where you stream what you're building gives you a claim to the product that you're building, because
Yep.
nobody can, oh no, I created that. Oh yeah, when did you do that? Before I did this, and here's my live stream. It
Yep.
gives you a day and time that it was online, so it guarantees your IP is your IP.
That's right. But we are pretty much at the end of the show.
We made it another episode.
We made another episode. Um, but no, we're excited about Virtual Versus. Hopefully you guys are getting excited about it too.
I'm super excited about it.
I'm super excited. I gotta finish this mind chapter over the next couple of weeks. It is hard to write alone, and I need some help.
I'm hopefully that's I'm hoping that I can make it into this better, and that I can get my shit together.
Tori, I'm glad you caught the show too, and I'm glad it's got you excited for a little bit that you've heard.
Dude,
Again,
same.
please go back and watch the previous episodes if you would like to learn more about the game and get really excited, or see if you really want to be excited about it. Because we really do cover all the core mechanics of the game. We've covered them since episode 13. So if you would really like to find out what Virtual Versus is about, I do urge you to go back and watch those. You can get some really in-depth stuff. You can get your questions together, because you got great questions and I love them, and you can get us on the right track.
It's been 3 years since Rosie. Just for your, yeah. It's been 3 years. He's been hanging out on my channel. He definitely has been around a bit and knows what's up around here. And I'm glad that he got to come out and be a part of the show today too. I'm glad that he was here. I'm glad that we've all been here, and I'm just glad that the show is back on and we're doing the thing.
Yeah. All right, this has been the Wayfarers guy. This has been my partner in hosting Dragon Scale N. I've been his partner in hosting Missing Solutions. This is World and Life Scale Building. This is the Wayfarers guy. We love all you guys.
Love each and every one of your faces. We are going to raid over to Modern Poet, who's playing some Magic the Gathering, and we'll see you guys next week on Monday. Don't forget to catch Mr. Soul-Lutions and the Soul Monkey Publication stuff on the YouTube channel and here on Twitch. He's got shows on all week long. Same here with the Dragon Scale Inn. We've got shows on all over the place. Just keep a follow and keep up to date on what we got going on. We're hella fun, and we like to see you guys around.
Hella fun. Yeah, we want to see you guys again. It's been great. You guys be